Hey guys, Jeff at Hubie's Garage, and I am putting together a video. This is the intro for a video that I've thought about for quite a while. I did it a little while ago and wasn't sure if I was ever going to put this video up because it's pretty much unfinished. But the lessons learned and what I found out after the fact, to me, was information that I wanted to share. You know, through my stupidity, through something that I did wrong, I'm hoping that you guys could maybe learn from what I learned the hard way. And so I'm just going to go ahead and share that knowledge with you. I just wanted to give you a heads up. There is blood and an injury in the video. So if any of that stuff doesn't sound like something that you want to watch, go ahead and turn it off. Don't watch it. I'm going to put the warning on the title so that YouTube doesn't ding me for that. But we'll just get into the video, and you can go ahead and leave your comments. Tell me what an idiot I am, and hopefully through my mistakes, you guys won't repeat what I did. And if one person's saved from getting hurt, then hey, I did my job. So let's get to the video. Thanks, guys. All right, we are almost at 231,000 miles, and it is time to do the first brake job on the Chevy Silverado Duramax diesel. So we're going to do the rear brakes today because, believe it or not, the front brakes still have a lot of meat left on them. The rears, however, are on the indicators. So 230,000 miles, that's quite a journey and quite an accomplishment with this truck to just be on its first set of brake pads. All right, we're going to use the speed wrench to get the caps off. Doing this one-handed. All right. Break the lugs. Another one-handed job. Okay, now that the center caps are off and the lugs are all loosened with the truck on the ground, we'll go ahead and put a floor jack underneath it and use my heavy-duty truck jack stands to support the rear axle. Okay, got it up on the jack stands, and let's take the wheels off. So this is where a speed handle comes in handy, or battery operated, or air operated, or electric operated. But with my old school tools, the speed wrench works great. Okay, you can see there's not much meat left on the pad, and the indicator is not touching the rotor, but when you apply the brakes, you do hear the indicators touching. So brake rotors look good. They're flat on both sides. The worst one is on the driver's side. Let me show you that. This is the only mark, and it just barely is in there. So we'll take it in and see if it could be turned. One of the fun parts about this is that we're using metric bolts, obviously. This is an 18 millimeter for the brake caliper mounts. So unfortunately I don't have a 1/2-inch drive metric socket set of sockets, so I end up having to use my 3/8, and I don't have a good breaker bar, so guess what I get to use. But hey, it works. So when I backed the caliper mounts, the bolts out for that, you notice there's no lock washers, but I did notice there is some stuff on the threads. So obviously a thread locker was used, so we'll just have to make sure that we put some Loctite on that when we put it back together. Okay, so rotor's off. Again, the parking brake shoes look good. Rotor surface looks good. Parking brake surface looks good. Let's go ahead and get these ready. We'll take them in and get them turned. Okay, well, as you can see from all the carnage and the trip to the ER that I bought myself, let me share in my stupidity, share what happened and why you don't want to have this kind of stuff happen to you. So you guys can learn from my mistake at the cost of me getting the stitches and not you guys, then it's a win for me. So what happened was I had to take out the sliding pins, and I was not in a real good position to really look at the pins. And what I did was I started grabbing Allen head wrenches and started fitting them in the bolt, because I thought for sure this was an Allen head bolt. And I should have not been so lazy. I should have climbed underneath and looked. But what I ended up doing was I got, here's one that's not been damaged, one of the Torx fittings. See if I can do this with one hand here. So what I ended up doing was I got this to fit in there really nice. And I thought for sure that I was dealing with an Allen head sliding pin. Turns out I wasn't. It was a Torx. So when I put the Allen head wrench in there and twisted the Allen head, this is what it did to the Torx. So when I figured out, oh shoot, it's a Torx, I ended up having to go to my local AutoZone and finding some Torx, because I do have Torx bits. They're not too bad. They work pretty good. And it turned out I did have a, well, I guess I didn't. I thought I had a T55, but it was a T55. And I put the T55, which was a 3/8 drive, on my crappy old breaker bar because I couldn't locate my good breaker bar, and you can see how much slop is in this one. And when I realized after I'd gotten the calipers off and realized I needed to separate the calipers from the actual brake pad mounts, and which entailed pulling the slider pins out, I didn't really have the calipers supported. They were hanging loose. So I went ahead and took the caliper and set it over the leaf spring and just kind of used the leverage of the leaf spring to hold the caliper in place. And then I went ahead and put my Torx bit onto the end, which was a 3/8 drive. It's actually kind of similar to this one. I put it on my 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter, put it on the Torx bit, which was on the caliper, which was straddling the leaf spring on the truck, put my hand on there and started to apply force. Luckily I didn't have a cheater bar, but it didn't matter. And what happened was the Torx bit shattered, and my pinky here went across the shattered Torx bit and tore my finger open. So if you want to see how bad it is, this is what it looks like. That was more than, actually the jagged edge that was left in the slider pin was probably this one. This is probably what cut me. So very, very jagged. And another stupid thing, as you're probably noticing, is that this is a security Torx, or what they call a tamper-proof. You can see that here. I had bought a tamper-proof and applied way more force than this Torx bit was able to handle, as you can see. And the stupidity of it was, it broke. I cut my hand open, didn't get to finish the brake job, and luckily my son went out and handled everything for me and got the truck done. So yeah, this is what I should have had. I should have had a standard Torx, but honestly, why in the HE double hockey sticks does Chevrolet or GM use a Torx bit? I mean, is this supposed to be a security issue? Why use a Torx? I'm not a fan of these things. They're terrible. It causes you to use a security bit or a tamper-proof, and it is just dangerous. So I wish they would have used an Allen head. Shoot, it would have been nice to have had a bolt, but I get it. You know, this isn't the 50s, but really, a Torx? Come on, guys. So that's what happened. That's what shattered. That's what broke. That's what caused 6 stitches in the ER. Not using the right tool, being in a hurry, being lazy, not getting up and going and getting the right tool, and not paying attention. So, yeah, that and that equals, well, that's what it looks like now. Thankfully, it healed up pretty nice, and I'm back in the garage using my hand again. So, hope my embarrassing moment is something that helps you out, and you guys learn from it, and you guys don't end up doing the dumb thing that I did and ending up in the ER because of it. So, thanks for watching. We didn't get to film the ending of the brake job, but the brake job is done. Everything works great. And thanks to the kid for finishing up the brakes for Dad while he was an idiot in the ER getting stitches. Have a good one, guys. And be safe.